You always have the deals that you want to have, especially when you're talking about a guy that means so much to your team, your building, your state, everything about you. You were here when you drafted him. That was one of the tougher decisions that went on throughout the offseason. And when you got to find a way to make all these things meet, we talked about how you fit it within the cap and what your structures are and how you want to have a person fit in. We just couldn't come into an agreement, and that's what went into those things. All those decisions, all those things happened, and that was very tough.
But you guys tried to reach some sort of different outcome for that?
Again, I don't really want to get into all that, Josh, when you talk about the back and forth of how you do those things. It didn't work out, and it's unfortunate for us and, really for us, because we lost a great human.
Did you get the sense you wanted to stay?
Say it again?
Did you get the sense you wanted to stay?
I don't want to speak for Grady, but it'd be far-fetched for me to sit here and tell you that Grady wanted to leave. It's one of those things that we couldn't reach an agreement, a business deal, and no hard feelings for myself or Grady. Definitely going to be missed. Definitely one of the guys I got so much respect for. He's a wonderful player to be around, wonderful guy to be around. I can't say anything but positive things about Grady. I just really can't.
Floyd, Raheem, what impressed you all on him?
The previous relationship. We need Rush. He said it perfectly, what you got in his opening press conference about forming a basketball team, and he'll be a piece of that. And getting that guy in there to form a way to get some rush and some better rush, to do some of the things like we did in the back half of the season earlier on so we can maintain it throughout the season, I think is one of the things that really impressed you about Floyd.
The edge spot, though, is that still an area you all want to add to?
Yes, I think you can't have enough edge. I think that's got to be something that you're always constantly doing. It's different, probably a different position than you're talking about the quarterback when you only play one. When you're talking about on the edge, you play a bunch of different people. You got a chance to roll those guys around. You can make the movement that you have to make necessary to go out there and try to win matchups. And I think you want to continue to add those guys as much as you can.
Would I be right in saying you were at Ohio State, a few other spots where there's a lot of high-profile guys off the edge? Is that a spot you guys still want to address early?
We do a bunch of jumping around. Dan, it'd be hard for me to say that it's a spot that you want to address early. You don't necessarily control the draft. You would like to be able to address some of your definite needs, some of the issues you want to be able to go out there and find ways to get and acquire people for your football team. So we're definitely looking at those people, definitely people that we evaluate. You were right by saying that we went to a bunch of different spots with edges. We went to a bunch of different spots with tackles, went to a bunch of different spots with a bunch of different people. And got a chance to get at some really good eyes, some good looks, some different people as we get a chance to watch the tape as well.
Raheem, when there's a call in a game on Sunday that maybe you're not too thrilled about, you guys will reach out to the league and say, hey, I want to get some follow-up on this. What questions are you seeking to answer generally when those conversations happen?
I generally use those as learning lessons. What can you do better to not get these things called? I don't really need them to admit fault or to admit anything they did wrong. Okay. I really just try to find out what we can do better in order for it not to happen again. Example, holding calls, something happened, it got called a couple different times. Trying to find different ways and different areas what we can do differently if we're doing something that they see that looks illegal, right? And then trying to find ways and reasons to get that done and to sort those things out for us. So really mine is more information gathering as opposed to critical thoughts. And critical.
So you don't need to be proven right.
No, I don't need to attack the league. Mine is more just trying to figure out how ways that we can get better moving forward. No, you're fine.
Do you feel like those are productive conversations? Do you feel like there's result from that?
We got a thing in place where you don't call for whatever the amount of time is, the grace period of letting it go. You submit your questions, you get your answer back. If you need to call anybody, you definitely can. I got a great source in our building in Rich McKay where I can ask him and talk to him a bunch. So I'm able to get great answers from great people all the time when it comes to officiating and things of that nature.
And then you take that to the field with your players too?
I take it right to the meeting room, right to our teachable moments when we talk about moving forward every single week as we go about our business.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, Coach, where do Leonard, Devine, and Fuller fit in the defensive off-season depth chart?
Just the positions that they play. Obviously you got a rusher, obviously you got a safety, obviously you got the Devine playing an inside linebacker. So just put those guys plug and play. We'll go out there, compete at a high level, and let those guys go fight for everything. That's just the case there it is. Obviously on defense you can play a lot of things. You can have guys move, you can have guys play different spots, and I'm excited to get all those guys.
Newsel, are you comfortable with him ascending to center, or will there be a competition for that spot with Dolman gone?
You're going to try to make it as competitive as you can, every single position that you have, but definitely feel confident with Newsel. Definitely getting the sample size that we got a chance to go out there and look when Dolman was out. I believe it was 3 or 4 games or whatever the case may be.
8.
Wow. It was 8
And we
games.
didn't know.
It was that's no doubt about it. It was 8 games that he was able to go out there and really be competitive and play at a very high level. To be able to go watch him get the confidence that way, feel really good about what Newsom can do. Even before that, watching him in practice, doing some of the things he was able to do, watching the continuity between him and Mike just throughout the season, with those guys being, the twos at certain points of the season and the ones at certain parts of the season. I feel really good about those guys, but definitely trying to make it a competitive stage at all walks of life when you talk about competitive positions.
Obviously, you've got.
You keep getting cut offs.
Hey, you guys are the
I
regulars.
got to take care of
That's
my
all
guys.
good.
I talk to my regulars. Get out of here. I don't even know you. No, I'm just kidding. Stop it.
I'm gonna take my ball and go home. Obviously, you have some more opportunity in the draft to add defensively if that's the direction you go.
Yes.
But given whatever you predict to happen there, and the loss of Grady and the free agency additions, are you confident you can be better on that side of the ball?
100%. Josh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but got so much confidence in just, believing in the coaching, believing in the guys that we got, believing in the guys that are getting better this year, believing in some of the guys that got hurt, that missed last year coming back. Got a lot of people coming back that I'm really excited about. When you talk about Trice, when you talk about Rook, he missed significant times last year with his ankle, whether it was on and off. Talking about Dorless being able to be up this year, be able to help us. Talking about the last year draft class is going to be really helpful in us to getting better and to things that we can do. And then being able to add this year, you're constantly trying to grow your football team, but definitely confident you can be a lot better on that side of the ball this year. Finally.
That's good. What kind of special qualities are inside Michael that were underappreciated maybe this time last?
I think really for all of us it was poise. I don't think we all knew how poised he was in the moments, and I think we all saw the arm talent. We all saw the superior throws down the field to his guys. We saw the guy go out there and compete at a very high level, get to the college football playoffs, things like that. But I don't know if we knew about the poise that he had and how calm he was under pressure, and nothing seemed to really rattle him. I think how he handled all the situations, going into it, being a backup, being a first-round pick, really waiting his time, really just learning, growing, doing all the things you need to do to develop, and showing that type of poise, and really being just a mature young man that he's really been from this early of a stage. I think is something that we really didn't know about. We had an inkling, we had a thought, but to get a chance to go out there and watch it live and watch those guys do it, and these guys can all attest that he's just a poised young man.
How rare is
Evaluate corners in the draft.
Corners?
Yep, because they play more zone than Matt at this stage.
I actually enjoy that a lot, to get a chance to watch those guys and predict the movement, watching the short space quickness, being able to predict movement and what they can do, all these new tools that we got to be able to predict speeds, all these new tools you got to get a chance to watch those match. You got a chance to watch them in some match-like situations, even if it's zone, when they got to pick up a guy and match it, when they got to pick up and plaster in zones, things of that nature. So you can kind of enjoy some of the predictability of it all when you're talking about the corners and so to speak, but you got to find different ways to evaluate each position, and I found ways that I like to look for, whether it's increased toughness when you talk about playing inside, or it's moving a guy from nickel to moving him back to safety, or moving a guy from safety, moving him up, all those type of things that you kind of enjoy about the process when you talk about evaluations of how you see it, to be able to get those thoughts across with your scouts, with your coaches, to be able to rattle those things around the cages to find out where you want to be able to place them. No problem.
How special of a player to be around?
Wow. I always want to get emotional when you start talking about Bijan because of how great of a kid he is and how great of a human, but he's just a great human that just happens to be one of the best players in the world. And he's looking forward to showing us every single week his competitive nature, what he is, who he is. It is real, it is authentic, and it is fun for us to be around and watch every day.
The second half of the season, when he started getting more work, you felt like he could handle that at that point, or was it just a matter of the way just things progressed?
I just don't know what he can't handle. It's one of those things where you find yourself with two really good running backs, and you have those guys going out there and trying to use them both as much as you possibly can, using them both sometimes at the same time, getting those guys out there. I don't know what he can't handle. He's one of those guys that just, at least last year, showed me that he is a man, and he wants all the smoke, and he goes out there and he takes it every single week, whether it's practice, whether it's games, whatever the case may be. He accepts all the challenges.
Roz, you kind of look back at the 22 class. I grasp you weren't here for all of it, but I want to say the guys like AK and Troy have had a new coordinator each year.
No doubt.
How much does that hurt them, do you feel like?
Definitely. The changing of the guard, when you're talking about when you get there with your original evaluator, when you draft a guy and you draft a kid, you pour into him, full-blown pouring into him. And that's just what coaches do, right? The full-blown buy-in. And then once you get a new guy, you don't know how that thing was rated, but I definitely know we have guys that pour into him right now. Whether it was last year, whether it's this year, we got to pour back into the guys from that 22 draft, from the drafts previous, whatever the case may be, people that you bring on. And it definitely has hurt guys like that. But we got a chance to see AK come on towards the end of the season. Obviously, the injuries really hurt Troy in a major way. But before those things, you get a chance to see him have breakout plays, splash plays, and you really can be excited about those moments. But then you wouldn't be all the way wrong by saying that when you have so much change with those guys and those periods that they've had, that's definitely going to set them back a little bit.